Juan Soto joining the New York Yankees in the pinstripes wearing 22 would be absolutely awesome, but it's not enough. Everybody, happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're ready for a good weekend too. So things are really starting to cook up. The hot stove is starting to cook up, right? Winter meetings start Monday, and things leading up into it. Things can happen over the weekend. Things can happen during the winter meetings, after the winter meetings. It's going to be a nonstop barrage of all kinds of news and talk and so on and so forth. And I have a lot to share with you. So, and the four names that are mainly talked about as targets for the Yankees, right? Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, and who? Anybody? Those are the main names. Okay. But there are other names, a lot of other names. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Okay, please do, because I'm going to fill you in on everything as it comes in. Okay, and hit the notification bell as well. I thank you for doing both so much. I want to make sure that you're in for everything, that you're in on the know. Now, I put out a short this morning. The Cleveland Guardians and MLBTradeRumors.com confirmed this. The Cleveland Guardians put stud, beast, monster closer Emmanuel Clase, Dominican pitcher, 25-year-old beast, on the trading block. They're listening to offers for him. And I've said this, okay? If I'm trading Gleyber Torres and I want to do it for pitching, okay? This is an opportunity to get a closer, a stud, beast closer. The Yankees need one. I think they need a lefty arm too, okay? I think two would be fantastic, but we'll see what happens. But with that said, if the Yankees are going to trade Torres and they're going to replace him with Soto, they're not adding any bats. They're replacing him with a better bat, okay, and a better skill set. Does that make the team better? Yes, absolutely, but it's not enough. Soto and Yamamoto, not enough. They have multiple holes to fill. So, and I want to tie in these things, okay? Now, and there's a lot of stuff going on here right now. Juan Soto, let's just say Juan Soto comes in, he's the only bat, okay? One of the reasons it's not going to be enough is they could just pitch around them, opponents. They can pitch around Judge too because they know there's not enough offense to drive these guys in. So, do you want to pay $500 million? That's what it's going to cost most likely for Juan Soto to have him have a 600 on base percentage, but just walk 3 million times a year? I don't know if we want to do that, which is one reason why we need more bats. So if they keep Torres and they add Soto, still need another bat, at least one. Okay. If you move Torres and you bring in Soto, you still need two more bats on top of Soto. Now, when it comes to Soto, the Yankees have acknowledged, Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner, that they need two outfield bats, right? Preferably lefties. Keep this in mind, okay? If they get Juan Soto and a stopgap like Max Kepler or Kevin Kiermaier, then it keeps the path clear for Jason Dominguez. They don't have to rush him back into activity. Want to protect him, highly touted prospect, make sure he comes back healthy in an appropriate time frame, right? If they get somebody like Jung Hoo Lee, who they sign on a 5-year deal, he's not going to come here to be a fourth outfielder, okay? Or if they get a Dylan Carson, who they might trade for in the Cardinals, got 3 years of control left. That's creating a blockage for Jason Dominguez, okay? So the second outfielder, whoever it's going to be, forces the Yankees to make a tough decision. Whether they're going to stick with Dominguez and ride with him or go a different direction. We don't know what's going to happen yet. There's all kinds of speculation, but these two options present themselves, and I think it's important that we have a thorough understanding of both of the options, okay? That's one scenario. And again, if they move Torres, my hope and recommendation is that it's got to be for pitching, okay? Now, let's pivot to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. This talks right now about his price tag already being in the $250 million range. You know, there's also been talks about a team like the Mets or someone else can go up to $300 million for a pitcher who has never thrown a pitch in the major leagues. But he's touted as the greatest pitcher ever to come out of Japan, and he's 25. So he's got things working for him, okay? Yes, the Yankees have reserved 18 for him, but if they bring in Yamamoto too, does that make it harder for them to extend Soto? I think it does. Doesn't mean it can't happen, But again, it's not my money. Not going to sit here and I don't think anybody else can credibly sit here and say the Yankees can do whatever they want. Oh, it's the Yankees anytime they want. That's not how it works. Okay, this is reality, not emotions and opinions. So if Yamamoto somehow goes, let's just say the Mets. Okay, and I'm going to tie in Shohei Ohtani to this too. So hang in there. If he goes to the Mets, let's just say, and 300 million, whatever crazy deal he gets, right? The Yankees, if they're wise, I would pivot quickly to Shota Imanaga, okay, from Japan. It's considered the number 2 pitcher in Japan, the lefty ace. And if you compare him to Masahiro Tanaka, who came here as the Yankee solid, was a good, great pitcher with the Yankees, their stats aren't incredibly different. So they'd be still getting a good pitcher. He doesn't throw massive heat like Roki Sasaki or Yamamoto, but he has he elicits a lot of swing and misses. Okay, and he's got good off-speed arsenal. So he has a very, very good skill set. And he'll come at maybe the third of the price, which would make it easier for the Yankees to add those 2 bats that they still need to add. If they move Torres and just get Soto, okay. So, and he'll probably, let's just say 80 million bucks or whatever it is. Probably going to be a third of what Yamamoto costs. And would I be excited if the Yankees got Yamamoto? Yes, but that's not enough, both of them. They still need more bats. Okay, that's 2 players. Doesn't address 5 holes, 6 holes, no matter who it is. Now, how do we tie in Shohei Ohtani to this? Well, here's some reporting that came this morning. Okay, that's the other name, Shohei Ohtani. So it's Ohtani, Bellnger, Yamamoto, and Soto. Okay. The reporting is right now from Jeff. This is right from Jeff Passan. Okay, that it sounds as if the bidding for Shohei Ohtani is down to 4 teams. Okay, I'm gonna read this right from Passan. Here we go. The Dodgers, the Cubs, the Blue Jays, and the Angels, according to Jeff Passan, it seemed to be the last teams in on him. Final teams. Now, teams like the Mets and the Red Sox and the Rangers, who've been talked about as credible suitors and legitimate suitors for Ohtani, have kind of moved on and switched their priorities, switched their targets elsewhere. Some of them being Yamamoto, which is going to drive the price up on Yamamoto. But I also think the Yankees might be waiting to see what Ohtani's price tag is going to be so they get a better idea of what the price tag for an extension for Juan Soto is going to be and whether they're willing to meet it. Okay. And if they bring in Yamamoto, I'm not saying they shouldn't, if they do, that would probably make it tougher for them to extend Juan Soto. I would love them to get both. They're both 25. It would be fantastic. Young building blocks. That's why I'm not a proponent of adding Jake Cronenworth to a Juan Soto trade. I would just give them the extra prospect that they want. I don't think Dominguez and Volpe are going to go there. There's not a spot on the team for Volpe. And Dominguez, I would have given him 2.5 years ago when we offered them to the Nationals for Juan Soto, and the Nationals didn't like him or Volpe. But that was for 2.5 years of Juan Soto. This is 1 year. Forget it. Okay. I'll add the extra pitcher. Okay. And just food for thought. But, and I said this yesterday, adding the $80 million to on Cronenworth's deal to bring him here, who's not necessarily an upgrade over Gleyber Torres. Okay, defensively it might be, but not offensively. Okay, that money could go towards an extension for Juan Soto. And I would imagine Scott Boras, who's one of the best agents, if not the best agent in the game, is a Jedi Master, is going to keep that in mind. Okay, so he wants the most money and the most years for his clients. And if we add a bad contract, that takes away from that. So maybe if they're going to take on a contract, maybe it's Matt Carpenter. Okay, I don't think they're going to add Rizzo to this trade. I don't think the Padres are going to take, remove 30 million just to add 17 back from Anthony Rizzo. And I don't see the chance in the world that Giancarlo Stanton's going to waive his no trade clause and is going to go to the Padres, despite what a couple of people have said. I can't see a scenario in the universe where that's going to happen. Okay, so how do we tie this all in? Again, the Ohtani price tag I think is going to affect the Soto extension and trade. It also can affect teams' priorities, who are going to switch to guys like Yamamoto, which could make it harder to also extend Juan Soto and change the Yankees' decision-making. I'm not saying it will. I'm not speaking for Hal or Cashman, but these factors have to be kept in mind. Okay. And this is why I discuss these things all the time. I'm not just here to tell people what they want to hear because that almost all the time is not the reality. Okay. And that's how this stuff gets looped in. Okay. And so Juan Soto. Oh, and by the way, the Blue Jays being tied in on Shohei Ohtani. Let's just say they don't get him, but they pivot to a massive overpay for Cody Bellinger. Okay. Who's another guy who's been linked to the Yankees for like a year now. And they pay him $250 million, which is a massive overpay for him, but it's still half the price of Ohtani. They've added a formidable bat, increasing the need for the Yankees to add these additional bats. So this ties into the Yankees in so many different ways that I think it's important to understand. And you may not agree with me, that's totally fine. But those are the four names right now. And the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes, I think, is going to be pretty significant because it's going to change the calculus on Juan Soto and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And in its own little way, Cody Bellinger. Now, we're hearing from John Heyman and even some other folks that the Yankees are, projected to get 2 out of the 3 between Bellinger and Yamamoto and Soto. Great. If they get 2, great. They get 3, phenomenal. Still does not solve everything for the Yankees. Doesn't solve third base. Jeimer Candelar's guy I've mentioned for a long time. Brendan Donovan would be a guy to potentially ask in a trade for. I would rather trade for Brendan Donovan than Dylan Carlson because Dylan Carlson blocks Jason Dominguez if he comes here. He's young and 25, but again, Jason Dominguez has been one of our highly touted prospects. We protected him for years. Are we just going to give that up for Dylan Carlson? I doubt it. Jung-Hoo Lee, I think, would represent a good outfielder, a good leadoff hitter for the Yankees, and I said it repeatedly. Okay, and I got to give a shout out to Ryan from Fireside Yankees for also plugging Jung-Hoo Lee and even Shota Imanaga because I do think they're legitimate players. Okay, and the KBO is not double A. Okay, but he's also been one of the best players to come out of the KBO, if not the best. So their skill sets match what the Yankees need. Okay, but this is where things are going to get hot. Okay, the Yankees could pivot in so many different ways. And really, really hoping that the Yankees do. And we're hoping that they wind up with really good players. But the fact is, moving Torres requires 3 bats in return. Got to get 3 bats for a net upgrade of 2. Keeping Torres, which is fine, but you're going to let him walk with a qualifying offer? I doubt it because I don't think they're going to give him $150 million next year, which he's likely going to cost. So if you want to get controllable pitching, starting or relief, controllable, meaning it's on the cheap, he's the piece you have to move to get that value back in return. Okay. How can you replace him? Well, if you have Oswald Peraza, if you don't put him in the trade, you can play second there. And by adding the other bats, it helps offset not only Gleyber Torres, but it also helps offset Oswald Peraza, giving him a grace period that we gave Anthony Volpe last year to let him go through growing pains and so on and so forth. You've also improved your infield defense tenfold. So there's a lot of different ways the Yankees can get better. And I'm hoping that the Yankees are really considering this. So, and again, I don't speak for them. It's just my opinion. And some of this stuff is common sense. So let me know what you think, gang. Let's talk about it. Peace.